Welcome back to the Fit Hippy Dad YouTube channel. My name is Scott. Today's episode is entitled My Physically Fit Journey, Part 2. So far, the Fit Hippy Dad channel hasn't grown much or had very many views. It would help if I would promote it. I'm not good at putting myself out there, especially with people I personally know. It's embarrassing to put yourself out there like that. I'll work on that. I must say that the first YouTube short I put out had quite a few views, almost 400. So I think I'll do a few more of those and promote the channel as well. I'll try. I know. I have to get over it if I'm going to do this. And before we dive in with today's video, please check out my Spotify podcast. It's Fit Hippy Dad, and my website at fithippydad.com. To review from last episode, I talked about being a normal kid for the most part growing up. The first time I really gained weight, from what I can remember, was between my junior and senior year, really the late junior year. So I lost weight during the summer. I believe I was over 200 pounds. I think it was 204 as the top weight. And I got down to about 175, so almost 30 pounds. So I continued to gain weight throughout college after that, when I got into college. And by the age of 27, I tipped the scale close to 250. It was easy to do, and you fool yourself by not weighing yourself. Last episode, I also briefly mentioned my family. I think my weight gain was entirely me, not genetics. I shared how much I could eat: 5 double cheeseburgers in one sitting, 3 foot-long subs in one sitting. Not throughout the day again, but for one meal. The last video ended with me talking about the hippie life, my introduction to avascular necrosis and hip replacements. So again, I had vascular necrosis, which is AVN for short. My hips had no blood flow through the hip socket. Could have been caused by asthma medication or prednisone, which I was on, or genetics. All I know is the effects were done. My hips were damaged, and at 27, that's when I found out about my vascular necrosis diagnosis. I had lost some weight at that point. I think I tipped the scales at 248, and in that time of the diagnosis. So check out the photo. I'll try to put it in here so you can see it. That was me, my sister, and my niece. I was a hoss from head to toe. Anyways, I lost about 60 pounds between the time I found out about the hips being damaged in March of 97, had my first hip replacement in 98. So now we're caught up. How did I lose weight? Well, smoking was involved. I don't recommend that, but I used smoking to help me lose weight. When I wanted to eat, I smoked. I also worked at a grocery store, and the stocking, the physical labor really helped. It was my exercise. I didn't really exercise at the gym or anything like that. The grocery store work was exercise, trust me. You are on your feet all day, stocking, lifting. It's a workout. In a lot of ways, I used smoking as a substitute for eating until my second hip replacement surgery, which was in 2002. I quit smoking after the second hip replacement. So really my physically fit journey really begins there in July of 2002. I couldn't substitute smoking for food, but I could substitute exercise for smoking and food. So during those years from 1997 to 2002, I spent a lot more time taking better care of myself. I was more conscious of what I ate, and can't say smoking was the only reason why I lost weight, but it was a big part. I think the important concept here that will be a part of my journey is awareness. I knew I had to lose weight to keep the weight off my hips for the rest of my life. Remember that awareness. I'll touch on that many times, I think. So now we're back in 2002. I quit smoking after the surgery. And on a side note, I quit caffeine as well. That lasted about 6 weeks before a drive up north to Wisconsin made me make a choice: smoking or caffeine. I chose caffeine. Now, without smoking, what was I to do? How could I keep the weight off? No longer, I couldn't smoke, right? So the nicotine, if it gives you that metabolic boost or not, it doesn't matter. But if it does or not, like, I had to do something to keep my weight in check. And as I mentioned a little bit ago, I chose exercise over smoking and food. Again, so even back in 1998 when I had that first surgery, during recovery and for many years after that, I did a lot of exercises for my hip to strengthen and increase the mobility of the joint and the surrounding area. I walked a lot, I kept moving. But it was really in 2002, after the surgery, when I didn't have the smoking anymore, that I took a personal journey to health, to be physically fit, to be healthy. Now, after the second hip surgery, I was 32. I started biking, stationary bike. Whenever I would want to smoke, after a meal, for example, in the morning when I would first get up, sometimes in between meals, I'd have a cigarette in between meals, really? I rode that stationary bike. So 6 weeks after the surgery in 2002, I weighed 169. The day of the surgery, I weighed 176. I lost 7 pounds, being on crutches and no weight bearing on my surgical leg. How did I do that? I moved. If awareness is a key part of my fit journey, movement is the medicine I used to keep my weight off. I didn't really lift weights, nor did a lot of body weight exercises like push-ups, or for many years after the surgeries in 1998, 2002, even in 2009 when I had the right hip revised. I probably did up to 2 hours of aerobic exercise and activity a day from 2002 until 2009. I also was extremely conscious of what I put in my body. Again, that awareness I talked about earlier. As you get to know me on this channel, I can have a bit of an addictive personality, whatever that means. So the moving, I did something without knowing what it was. I did what is called NEAT. When it comes to exercise and moving, it stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, it means how active you are when you aren't trying to actually exercise. If you are a fidgeter, if that's a word like me, you're practicing NEAT. If you can't sit still. It's also, you can call it exercise snacks. I've seen that out there too. It's a little activity and movement throughout the day. I'll share a few links in the description if you want to check out more about NEAT to supplement your official exercise, or as we'd call it, exercise snacks. What are examples of NEAT in my life? Well, I started taking stairs, not the elevator. I parked farther away from the store to get more steps in. 10,000 steps became my daily goal. If I sat too long, I'd go for walks at work or at school or at home. I just moved. Honestly, up until about 2013, that's what I did. Really not just from 2009, but it was really 2013. Move. Being aware of my movement, the stationary bike, some home calisthenics, finally, and being mindful of what I consumed. Just touching on food intake for a little bit. I could give you a ballpark number of how many calories I ate every day for years. All of these modifications in my life must have worked. I have kept 90 pounds of weight loss off for 27 years and counting. No drugs, no Ozempic, it can be done. Next time, I will wrap up with part 3 of my physically fit journey, with really my exercise journey, beyond NEAT and walking. And that really starts in 2013, so we're talking 12 years now. Again, don't forget the podcast, Fit Hippy Dad. Check out my website at fithippydad.com. Hope you come back. And until next time, God bless.